Alright, we are going to do one more problem together, and you can find this one on page 3 of your binder. We're going to be talking about the counting on a number line method, but this time we're going to call it counting on. And when we count on, we're just adding on to things that we've already counted. And later this week we're going to be playing a game called the integer game, and we're going to be using our number line to try and find the sum of some cards that we have in our hand. Now if you remember, the word sum refers to what we get when we add the numbers together. And I know that for some of you, adding integers, those positives and negatives, can be new to you. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we do this. On the integer game, if I have these 4 card values of positive 5, negative 5, negative 4, and 8, I can use my number line to figure out what that sum or that final total would be. If you remember, we start at the number 0. I'm going to count up 5. Okay, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I end up at the number 5. But I'm not done. I have more cards. So the next card I'm going to add is my negative 5. Instead of starting back at 0, we're going to count on from 5. So this is now my new starting point because I'm just adding on to it. So when I add on a negative 5, remember that we count to the left or we count down. Okay, so I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left because it's a negative number, and you'll see I'm right back here at 0. And that should make sense because 5 and negative 5 are opposite numbers, and so they should result in a 0 when we add them together. My next number is negative 4, and I count on from where I left off. 4 to the left, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember that distance is called the absolute value, so 4 spaces to the left, and now I'm at negative 4. And the last card I'm going to add is positive 8. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces to the right, and I am finished. My final spot on my number line is the number 4. Okay. Now with the integer game, we're always going to try and make 0. So if I had the number 4 and I wanted to pull new cards to get back to that number 0, I can pull in quite a few different combinations. One of them being a negative 1 and a negative 3. And their absolute values are 4 and they're to the negative. I could also try and pull a 0 and a negative 4. I can pull a negative 6 and a positive 2. We're going to get into a lot more of these combinations and how you can quickly find them later in this unit. A little bit further in your binder on page 4, you see this box. And there's a lot of math speak in this box, so we're going to make it make sense. So it says for every number a, so just some random number, there's a number negative a, or the opposite of a, so that a plus the opposite of a is 0, and the opposite of a plus a equals 0. That can be pretty confusing, so let's try and figure out what that means. So we call them the additive inverses of a number is a number such that the sum of the two numbers is 0. Remember, the sum is adding. So the opposite of a number satisfies this definition. Again, a lot of math speak. But if we break it down and use numbers instead of letters, we can use the number 3, and it's opposite of negative 3. And if we add 3 and negative 3 together, we're going to get 0. And similarly, if we have negative 3 plus 3, we also get 0. So that tells us that -3 is the additive inverse of 3. And again, additive inverses, just a fancy way of saying opposites. And so this is our first key vocabulary word for this unit, additive inverses, and it just means opposites. I'm going to have you finish adding whatever notes you would like to your binder at this point in time, and then answer the next question on the Google form.